In Religion That God Approves, TableTalk Magazine gently presses us to look past the shine of outward devotion and ask whether our faith has hands that help and a heart that stays clean, drawing our attention to the quiet, weighty wisdom of James chapter 1 verses 26 through 27, where true godliness walks humbly among the vulnerable and keeps its garments free from the dust of the world, reminding us that real religion sounds less like noise and more like love in action. Now for our reading. Pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their trouble, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. James chapter 1 verse 27. Commenting on James chapter 1 verses 26 through 27, the Venerable Bede observes that there are plenty of people who appear to be religious in the sight of men, but who are wicked as far as God is concerned. Indeed, this is the point of these verses, which show that we can demonstrate exceptional piety and yet have a worthless religion. What, then, is the worthwhile religion that God approved? It is to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. James, of course, does not give the full scope of true religion when he calls us to bridle our tongues, help the needy, and abstain from worldliness. Still, the things that the Apostle mentions are especially indicative of our possessing the faith we profess, having been called to imitate God as those who have been birthed by his word of truth. We imitate God when we control our speech, for he is careful in what he says and uses his words for his glory and to heal his people. If we speak in such ways, we show that the life of God himself has taken root in us. We also imitate God in a rather clear way when we visit orphans and widows in their affliction, that is, when we take care of them. In the ancient world, widows and orphans were especially vulnerable, having no husband, father, or advocate to defend them or provide for their needs. Thus, Scripture routinely calls God's people not to mistreat widows or fatherless children. Ancient Israel had a special tithe used to feed the Levites, the sojourners, the widows, and the orphans in the land. God cursed any who would pervert the justice due to widows and orphans. The Lord takes a special interest in widows and orphans, telling us that he is Father of the fatherless and protector of widows. If we are to be like our Father in heaven, we must also provide for orphans and widows who cannot provide for themselves. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father will also keep one unstained from the world. That is to say, we are not to let our beliefs and behaviour be shaped by the worldviews of unbelievers who are in opposition to God. Ultimately, James calls for a true religion of the heart that is evidenced by deeds that reflect the character of the Father who has made us his children. God takes no delight in our solemn assemblies when we do not practice his standards of righteousness and justice. John Calvin comments, "Religion is not to be estimated by the pomp of ceremonies, but that there are important duties to which the servants of God ought to attend." God calls us to take care of those who cannot take care of themselves and to abstain from worldliness. It is helpful to consider where our lives reflect the world and to seize such imitation. Let us also do what we can to meet the needs of those who truly need our help. This concludes our reading. Thank you for listening.